de mayo 1999 nos encontramos en la Plaza Ucrania, acompañados por los doctores Ezequiel López y Marta Blanco. Y vos me dijiste, con Teresa, que les habla César, los invita a todos no dejar de concurrir a esto que es tan importante para nuestra salud.
A smile, a chat, a gesture, a walkout, a moment of fun. Images common to the adventures of the 60 Club. But there was a start, and what follows is our way of narrating the story and experience of the 60 Club. Someone once said that the word vision was defined as the image of a desired future. Well, the vision of the 60 Club has stayed in my mind for a long time, but one day it came out to turn into this image of a desired present. I cannot precise which was the exact moment when the idea appeared, but perhaps upon listening to the Cuban elders' experience, my dream of gathering the wisest in the tribe knew it had a way of becoming true. Then I start to look for more information, more hints and more evidence. I needed to know which was the formula to create an elders' council. I had some clues. I knew that performing physical and recreation activities supply numerous benefits for people's health. And I also knew that community work was part of our job as family physicians. But the integration of these two activities was missing. The search did not prosper. Days and months passed without being able to find out the formula. And suddenly, one day during dawn, the sun lit up a place where shadows had been before, and in that place the secret to form the group stayed unchanged. Only one word summarized the whole process, and to think that I had looked for thousands of words, which would have been part of papers, guidelines and protocols about how to form an elders group. But it was only one word, and that word was start. With the determination to start, I bought a book with blank pages. I commit myself to fill it in with experience acquired day by day. I call it a logbook. Why not? Wasn't this the beginning of a trip and a new adventure? It was so that in that wonderful afternoon on February 3rd, the following words found their way on the first page of the logbook. February 3rd, 1999. Ángela Escaramal, Ezequiel López. Beginning, starting point. The weather did not help much. It had rained heavily practically the whole day. It was 6 p.m., but different from what I had imagined. The waiting room was empty. Angela came and I breathed quieter. I prayed to God to send me someone else, at least to be two. But quickly I understood I was being too ambitious, and God preferred that we started as everything always starts, from the beginning. Now new words and new challenges appear on the road, to go ahead, to improve. In our eagerness to inform more people about the benefits of shared physical activity, we wonder how we could help to increase the efficiency of the smoke signals. The first idea that came out was to make posters which were fixed all over the center. The second generation of posters was improved. In the middle of the invitation there was a photo of one of the first meetings. That little difference poked the fire, since the message stopped being a prayer and became a fact.
Yo vine acá porque yendo al consultorio vi la propaganda y me informé y me gustó la idea. Y aparte sí soy amante al deporte.
The second outing of the group had nothing less than 4 participants over 60 years old, who met at the waiting room. Caesar even brought his grandson as companion. From then onwards, the waiting room was more crowded every time. The seats are, little by little, occupied by the club members. There are from 10 to 15 minutes before starting the activities, in which the silence of the room makes way for a continuous murmur which cheers up the health center. Our main wish, when forming the group, consisted of supplying a place to devote to fun, education and health care for people that may have trouble to make relationships due to shortage of places or proposals. Therefore, we devote to struggle against isolation, boredom, lack of knowledge, loneliness and sedentarism, because we knew that all these factors may have devastating effects on the general health of any person. While one of the necessary conditions to become part of this adventure consists of having passed a health control satisfactorily during the last year, and in consequence having the family physician's approval to do physical exercise. The other requirement was at the same time easier and more difficult: to be 60 years old. Once every member went through this stage, they receive an ID card, therefore being enabled to start the first activities the club promote: walks and physical activity. The fact of living in the neighborhood not only gave me the possibility to accomplish one of the principles of family medicine according to McGuinness, but also allowed me to revise my memories and look for one among all the squares where I had played when I was a child. There was one which seemed to fulfill all the requirements. It was a nice, quiet, clean place, just 500 meters from the health center, and it had a small amphitheater which yelled to be used. Well, we pleased it, and in exchange, Euclid Square let us continue with the development of our workout routine, half relaxing and half caressing. The same routine which had been born with the club one afternoon in February, in which, accompanied only by Angela, I felt like a personal trainer. From that time, we went out of the center and walked as far as the corner, where the Paso Street showed us our new way. New walk starts, and with it, the chance to get to know each other. As we go ahead, little subgroups form, and magically, a compulsory comment comes about what had happened during the week. The need to show something that made us happy, and even there is time to comment about the disorders brought about by the passing of time and the age, many times caused by disorders prevalent in the group, namely hypertension, cholesterol, osteoporosis, arthrosis. But now, all these problems had faced a problem they had encountered with the 60 Club. Many times, the walks allowed us to get to know each other, to introduce to the new members, to know we had a group where we belong, or to learn, for instance, that Oscar, Alberto and I, the only men in the group, had the same passions in common, the 60 Club and Independiente, our favorite soccer team. Step by step, firmly, sometimes tired, others carrying sticks, the group leaves its prints along the way, walk until getting to Euclid Square. When we get there, and after taking a breath, we start with a little warm-up as usual, relaxing and doing massage on the limbs joints. We also exercise the neck, and to finish, we flex the waist doing an exercise which someone baptized the little airplane. It marks the end of warming up and the beginning of the thousands possibilities of playing given to us by the sticks and the balloons. It is difficult to draw conclusions when one observes a phenomenon which develops dynamically, but it is possible to learn while one observes facts' evolution. 60 Club has this advantage. It is full of lessons, some of them already learned, and the most interesting thing of all, many more to be learned. 32 meetings were necessary to know a new way of bringing health to people. 32 meetings were necessary to complete, out of the consulting room, the wonderful experience of being a physician. 32 meetings were necessary to know that even the weather was persuaded that the club was a good idea, and in consequence the rain only said no on 3 occasions. 32 meetings to dream that it becomes contagious. 32 meetings to understand that being a doctor is the perfect excuse to go out walking with people. 32 meetings of the 60 Club were necessary to find those words that I had been searching from the beginning and which willfully, instead of turning into papers, guidelines and protocols, resulted in this narration of our experience.